What's going on? It's your boy Bowie here. I'm back with some more thoughts about the J. Cole situation. Sorry about that. This video is titled How J. Cole Has Demonstrated How Hip-Hop Fans Are Fickle and or Dumb. Yes, J. Cole has shown us all that the average consumer of hip-hop today is fickle and dumb. That might include some of you that are watching this video right now. Depends on the criteria. Now, before I get into my thesis here, I want to start by saying a couple things outright. For one, I am not a stan of J. Cole, Kendrick, or anybody. I'm not even a stan of brands because, you know, you can have brand loyalty if you want to, or you can be loyal to your favorite celebrity, your favorite musician, or whomever, and then they can be on some fuck ass shit and make you look stupid. Ask the Kanye West fans what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Ask the Doja Cat fans what I'm talking about. Or the fans of people like Azalea Banks and stuff like that. You know. So I'm not a fan of being mindlessly loyal to anyone. However, I am a fan of assessing people and judging them based on their own self-selected criteria. You know what I'm saying? If somebody has demonstrated an aptitude in doing a particular thing or a preference in doing a particular thing, assessing them based on how well they do that thing makes a lot of sense. By contrast, assessing them based on things that they're not known for doing does not make any goddamn sense. You know. In the context of hip hop, think about it like this. Have you ever heard a Nas freestyle? Don't worry, I'll wait. The answer to that is no. You have not heard a Nas freestyle. And if you have, it's very rare and occasional. You know why you don't hear a Nas freestyle? Because Nas doesn't freestyle. He writes his rhymes. He pens them very meticulously and very carefully, to the point where he seldom ever remembers his own rhymes. Nas is one of the greatest writers in hip-hop, and that's what makes him an elite tier MC. But freestyling is not something that he's known for, right? By contrast, rappers like Snoop Dogg and Common, they can literally be in a spot and they can just rap off the dome about whatever the fuck's around them. You know what I'm saying? They can do that all day long. Now, their pen games may not be as strong as Nas, but that's something that they're good at. You know what I'm saying? So if we were to assess Nas based on his propensity to do freestyles, he would get an F. He would appear to be a disappointment, even though that's far from the case. That's just not what he's known for doing. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I bring all that up is because this is exactly what has happened with J. Cole. We have legions of so-called J. Cole fans that find themselves disappointed that J. Cole apologized to Kendrick Lamar for releasing 7 Minute Drill and dissing him when doing so didn't sit right with J. Cole's spirit. Now, the fact is, J. Cole didn't owe anybody an explanation for shit. He could have dropped the diss and took it off and not said a goddamn thing. It would have been weird. It would have been inexplicable, but he could have done that. You know? But he didn't. He gave a beautiful explanation that felt sincere, and it was vulnerable. And instead of most people paying attention to that and actually trying to learn about who this man is and assess whether such a revelation fits with the MC that they've been listening to for the past 12 years or whatever, motherfuckers were mad that J. Cole didn't do a thing that he was never known for doing. See, J. Cole was never the type to sit there and pen diss raps at people, whether it be for beef, whether it be for competition, or otherwise. He was never known for that. As a matter of fact, he's been known for being quite the opposite of that. People like No Name and Lil Pump have used music to criticize J. Cole. Did J. Cole respond with diss tracks? No, he didn't. He had a private conversation with No Name, and they settled their differences through conversation. And Lil Pump got a whole ass interview, which gave him more attention than the whole rest of his career put together. And this was, mind you, this was after Lil Pump had people at his concerts going, fuck J. Cole. He had fans at his concert screaming, fuck J. Cole after 1985. You know what I'm saying? So J. Cole was never the person that's going to sit here and be dissing the shit out of people. Never. He even said as much on First Person Shooter. Niggas want him to respond with venom and all this stuff, you know. He even said as much on 7 Minute Drill. The world's anxious for a toxic reply, or thirsty for a toxic reply, or whatever he said. I can't remember now. They want him to reply toxically when toxicity or toxic replies are not J. Cole's forte. That's not why we listen to J. Cole, and it's not what J. Cole has made his career about. J. Cole has prided himself on competing with rappers by having the best verse on their song. That is how J. Cole has decided to compete. And you don't have to believe me just because I said it. Go back and listen. Listen to his latest work, where he mentions, put me on a song with somebody, I'll chew him up. He didn't use those exact words, but that's more or less what he said. Go back and listen to A Lot, his record with 21 Savage. Go back and listen to First Person Shooter. Go back and listen to The Off Season. Go back and listen to KOD. Go back and listen. Listen to the guest verses that he's had on rappers' records. And see if he doesn't mention how he's one of the illest motherfuckers to get on a song with, and how he kills rappers on their own beats. Look at the video for Middle Child, where he had rappers' heads on a wall for killing them on their own as a feature on their own record. That's how Cole competes. That is how J. Cole chooses to compete. And notice, it does not involve dissing nobody. It involves being on the same record with them, collaborating, not exchanging insults, and having the best verse. That is how he competes. He's not even the only one that did that, by the way, or does that. Eminem and Busta Rhymes did the same thing for their record Calm Down. You can look it up. There's a documentary on it where Busta Rhymes explains in detail how that record came together. and the time that it took for that whole thing to be written, because both Eminem and Busta Rhymes kept extending their verses beyond oblivion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not making this shit up. This is stuff that you can go and verify. Okay. Cole competes and feels like he's untouchable, the illest nigga in the game, when it comes down to rapping, and has said as much and demonstrated as much. And the way he does that, the way he proves that, is not by going toe-to-toe with Kendrick Lamar back and forth with disses, or anyone for that matter. It's not just Kendrick. Anyone. He doesn't do that with anyone. What he has done is he has gotten on these records with these rappers, and not even just rappers, apparently. I didn't even know this, but he was on a damn record with a K-pop musician. My bad. I never even knew that shit. But he gets on these verses, or he gets on these songs with people, and he does a killer fucking verse in an effort to outshine whoever on their own beat. And he's done it repeatedly. Him and Method Man are like amazing at that, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But that's what happens. That's how Cole has chosen to demonstrate his, his preeminence, or demonstrate his mastery as an MC. And he's very amazing at that. And then he's elevated his game on this latest work, Might Delete Later. His verses are killer. Okay? But people are upset at him for living up to his character, for being the peaceful guy who is decidedly non-confrontational, but still competitive and slightly braggadocious. You know what I'm saying? And they're admonishing him for not disrespecting somebody that he admires. He's often talked about his admiration for his peers and how it's stupid to try to be, dissing them when the two of them, well, when those peers of his are the ones that understand what he goes through the very best out of anybody. He's talked about this. This is not new shit. You know what I'm saying? But what I think is so interesting is that this really does show how a bunch of hip hop fans are just dumb. You're mad at this man for not doing something that he doesn't do. Like, the fuck? I don't do this. Oh, you suck. You're out of the big three because you didn't do this. That's not what he does. The fuck? Like, that's dumb. And then he gave you valid and understandable reasons for why he doesn't do this, or why he didn't want to do this particular thing that he did. He revealed that he was pressured, and we could see that. People wanted blood. And make no mistake, people, those of you that are trying to say, all we wanted was friendly competition. No, the fuck you didn't. And even if you did, you do not speak for everybody or the vast majority of people. A large chunk of people wanted Cole to go ham on Kendrick. They wanted to see a verbal bloodbath. They wanted to see what they had gotten from people like 50 Cent. They wanted to see kind of what they got from Meg Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj. I'll bring her up more later. They wanted to see motherfuckers name names and drop clever disses and shit like that. And I get that. That's a part of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But competing in a friendly manner is also a part of hip hop. Having respect for one's peers is also a part of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And deciding to stay in your particular lane is very much a part of hip hop. And when I say staying in your lane, I mean you approach rap and hip hop in the way that suits you best, rather than trying to occupy all lanes at one time, including those that you ain't got no business trying to occupy. That's very much a part of hip hop too. And J. Cole is very much in the lane of this killer MC who you do not want to feature on your record because he's going to try to tear your head off, and probably will do it unless you're like an elite level MC. And even then, it's not a guarantee. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird too, because I've seen a lot of people talk about he's no longer in the big three. I'm like, what? First and foremost, do you know how stupid you sound as a grown ass man talking about some big three? Motherfucker, we got bills. Motherfucker, there's responsibilities and shit. Some of you got kids, and you give a fuck about a big three? Where are your priorities? Who gives a damn about that? This nebulous concept of a quote-unquote big three or best rapper alive. Who gives a damn? Whoever holds it today is not going to be able to hold it forever. At one point in time, the quote-unquote best rapper alive would have been by many to be being considered by many to be Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Is he the best rapper alive now? Hell nah. So even if you hold the crown, you can't hold it forever. And that's even if you get everyone to agree, because all while Lil Wayne was claiming to be the best rapper alive, we still had Jay-Z and Eminem. You know, we still had people that were way more lyrical than Lil Wayne out. They just weren't mainstream. You know what I'm saying? And then there was, claims that Wayne had ghostwriters and shit. That's neither here nor there. Point is, you can't even get everyone to agree. So if it's not unanimous and it's not objective, why give a fuck about it? It's all based on people's personal preferences and tastes. And you're not going to be able to talk people out of their damn tastes. Also, considering the kind of person that J. Cole is trying to be, he's trying to be the person that's not so fucking preoccupied with, are people going to consider me a part of the big three? You think he gives a shit about that? You think he's trying to give a shit about that? Really, really. The man has children. The man has a record label. The man has artists underneath him. He's preparing for his own retirement. By all indicators. He's not going to give a fuck whether people put him at number one at the end of the day. I'm certain that it bothers him to a certain extent, but he has too much respect for people like Kendrick and Drake to really even be mad at their greatness, so to speak. Doesn't fucking matter to him, and that's coming from him. But rap fans are fickle as fuck, because now you got people going from gassing Cole up to go at Kendrick to now saying, oh, you're out of the big three. Get the fuck out of here. How do you get out of something that you earned? Did he lose talent suddenly? Did this album suddenly get worse because he apologized to Kendrick? I promise you it didn't. The raps are still fucking cold as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Did his accolades get removed or something, or did his albums go unplatinum because of this apology? Because if so, y'all need to let me know. Did he suddenly get worse at rapping? Has he fallen off yet? As far as all indicators are concerned, the answer to those questions is no. So if those things haven't happened, he's not out of the big three. Period. And motherfuckers can be mad all they want, but that's the objective truth. But one of the things that I find funny about all of this is motherfuckers have more smoke for J. Cole for being mature and apologizing for wrongdoing than they did for motherfucking Tory Lanez when he shot a woman. He shot a woman in the fucking foot on camera. And I didn't see this level of outrage for him. I did see this level of outrage for her, though. I did see a bunch of people questioning her, accusing her of lying, accusing her of making it up, accusing her of somehow being deserving of what happened to her or asking for it. Or because she's big and strong, you can see how she got shot. Excuse me? We're shooting guns at women now? What the fuck part of the game is that? Shooting guns at women? Like, you gonna have to forgive me, but that sounds asinine. That don't even make no motherfucking sense. You ain't even supposed to put your hands on a woman, let alone shoot a pistol at her. What the fuck? Is she that threatening and scary to you to where she got to be shot? The fuck? Like, I don't get that. I should have hit him with the fatal blow combo and won that fucking round. Oh, he a punk hoe for that. Okay. But yeah, y'all had more smoke for Megan than you do. I mean, you had more smoke. Yeah, more smoke for Megan than you did for Tory Lanez, the nigga that shot her, the nigga that had gunpowder residue on his hand, the nigga who had the gun in the car. You know. That nigga, the nigga who called on the phone and apologized for what he did to Meg. That nigga. That person has not gotten a fraction of the scorn that J. Cole is receiving right now, or attention. And that's bullshit. This demonstrates how fucking stupid and fickle hip hop fans are. Some bum ass nigga shoots a lady in her foot, and I don't give a damn if you think she deserved it or not. She's a lady. That's a female, in the words of Craig from Friday. That's a female. The fuck is wrong with you? You motherfuckers are so disappointed in J. Cole. But when another rapper sits there and threatens a woman on camera with a gun, or worse yet, fucking rapes a girl and is convicted of doing so, y'all ain't got no smoke for him. Y'all still be bumping that nigga music. You pretend like the shit ain't even happen and blame the woman. But fuck J. Cole for being mature and acting his motherfucking age and being the guy that he says that he is in these goddamn records. Fuck him for competing in the way that he sees fit rather than giving you the bloodlust that you guys are looking for. Stupid. That's some fickle ass shit. And your priorities is fucked up. Seriously. I might be talking to yo ass. And you can get mad at me. You can send some angry comments on this video. Do it. I don't give a fuck. Because anything you have to say is going to prove me correct. I understand. This is hip hop. Hip hop and competition kind of go hand in hand, right? I get all that. But people have the right to decide how they compete in hip hop. And rappers and MCs get to decide who they want to diss, when, and why. And if someone decides, hey, I don't want to diss my friends because I care more about this relationship and I respect them too much to fucking jeopardize our relationship, that's got to be respected and at least accepted. The fact that you motherfuckers are really acting like imbecilic children over this shit just shows me that y'all are fickle as shit. Some of y'all were never fans of the man to begin with, because if you were, you would realize that this is well within the bounds of his character to do this. And then another segment of y'all, you don't like Cole, no way. You don't listen to his shit, no way. You think he's corny anyway. You said he put you to sleep, so why do you give a fuck if he responds or not? The fuck? Like, you've already decided, you already rendered a verdict on the boy. So there's nothing he could do to win you over anyway, because if he hasn't won you over with these crazy fucking bars and impressive accolades, such as going platinum on an album with no motherfucking features and no promotion, and that album being fucking classic, okay? If that doesn't win you over, nothing will. You know what I'm saying? But y'all the ones running around here talking about some J Fold, which is a corny ass nickname, by the way. Like if you gonna make fun of a nigga, right? Let me just a little bit of advice. If you're gonna do a stupid pun on J. Cole, the word that you follow it up with has to actually rhyme with Cole. Fold and Cole, yes, they're somewhat homonymic in nature, but one ends with a D, the other one ends with an E. That shit doesn't quite work. J Swole would make sense. J Mole would make sense. J Soul would make sense. J Fold is dumb. That nigga sounds like an origami master or some shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, y'all are dumb. But anyway, point of the matter is this. J. Cole just did something that's unprecedented in hip hop. He did something that is, in my estimation, objectively admirable and courageous. And fuck that. It was just the right thing to do. It's not right to sit there and diss somebody that you fucking respect simply because the whole world wanted you to do that and make up lies about them. Because this idea that To Pimp a Butterfly was somehow a gassed up ass album and it really wasn't all that great was wild. That's wild cap right there. That was some bull ass shit. And Cole knew it, which is why he went and corrected the fucking record. But the reason why he had to do that is because he, probably like me, saw people running around saying To Pimp a Butterfly and all that. That shit was actually trash. The fuck? That's one of the best and transformative hip hop albums of the past 20 years. What the fuck is you talking about? If you don't like that album, your taste in music is garbage. And you don't enjoy black music. The fuck? You don't enjoy lyricism. You don't enjoy musicality. You don't enjoy, themes, thematic elements. You don't enjoy soul. You don't enjoy funk. You don't enjoy, like, the fuck? Bro. You don't enjoy clever wordplay. There's a reason why that album is so well respected. It deserves it. And so for people to run around saying that it wasn't that, simply because J. Cole made up an angle to satiate a bloodlust that he didn't even have, that tells me exactly how fickle these rap fans be acting. Y'all are the reason why amazing MCs, they can't be celebrated forever. You know, people often ask, man, if Tupac and Biggie were alive today, everything would be so much better. No, it wouldn't. I'll tell you what would happen. If Biggie and Pac were alive today, we would treat them the way that we treat all quote unquote classic MCs. We don't even call them classic MCs. What do we call them? We call them old school. Because what in hip hop, what we do is we boil a rapper's entire career down to the songs that we remember them best for. Fuck the album cuts, fuck the albums, fuck the contributions, just those records, the hit records. And if they ain't got none, then fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Like, to some people, Biggie's whole discography is, you know, what they hear on the radio. That's his whole legacy. That's it. And we would have done that with Biggie and Pac if they were alive. The same way we do it with Method Man, the same way we do it with Rakim, same way we do with LL Cool J, same way we do with anybody. We wouldn't celebrate them. We wouldn't continue to support them when they make new music. That's why somebody like Nas is like a fucking alien in this hip hop game right now, because this man started his career in the early 90s and he's still able to release albums that have a large degree of commercial success and critical acclaim. That doesn't happen in hip hop at all. What typically happens is when, you know, old school rappers, or even not that old school rappers, release some new shit, that shit goes double wood, because hip hop is all about the new and fresh, and fuck everything that came before. You know what I'm saying? That's how fickle people are. They don't even do that shit in rock music or any other damn musical art form, just hip hop. But anyway, that was a tangent. Or as Cole say, never mind, that was just a segue. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I want to impress upon you. If you're disappointed that J. Cole didn't do the thing that he was never known for doing, and didn't give you that moment in hip hop that you desperately wanted, that says much more about you than it does him. I would have preferred that he stuck with his code and never even said shit, but I can understand why he folded, because he wanted to impress you. He wanted y'all to be happy with what he did. As he would put it, he needed y'all to love him. Y'all remember that on Chaining Day? Some of y'all do. But anyway, you need to check yourself. For real. You need to figure out what it is about your spirit and your heart that makes you be so gassed up against Cole and not gassed up against all the other actual bullshit that's going on in hip hop and in the world right now. There's things a hell of a lot more important than J. Cole being mature. Much more important. That should take precedence. Just my thoughts. But I'll catch y'all later. One.